All right, it's that time for the end of day report with yours truly, the Algo Capitalist, aka the Vulcan, coming to you live from PulseWaveTrading.com, home of the world famous PulseWave price trigger reports. All right, so getting into the first chart, let me just go ahead and put that on the screen for you. All right, we're going to start off with gold futures here. As you can see so far, on this weekly chart, we're setting ourselves up for a crash alert sell signal going into next week. So all things being equal, if today was Friday, that's exactly what we'll be looking at. Looks like the market wants to come down here to the top of the Kumo cloud, which would put the prices sub 1750. And that seems to be where we're on course for going. We do have this bearish pointer back here as well, which I think is attracting prices. I believe that this bar made on the week of August the 13th is going to be the trading range for the foreseeable future. As you can see, prices are already pulling back into that now. Looking at the US dollar, as you can see here, bears still fully in control of the US dollar, even though it's kind of bouncing from last week's low point here, but yet not strong enough to get out of this the sell cycle that you can see right now. I think that the US dollar has much further to fall. I think at some point we're going to fall out of this Kumo cloud and fall over the edge. I think this thing is about to fall over a cliff. So I think the bear is about to really get down and dirty with that US dollar. Taking a look now at the euro yen. So far, as you can see, not too much going on. Market's trying to build momentum for last week, so the bulls still have the market sustained right now, even though the market seems to be pulling back from last week's highs. I think that the foundation is going to be built for this to move higher going into next week. Even if this thing pulls down a little bit lower here, I think that it's going to be a rally point. So any pullback in the euro yen, I think is going to be opening the door for a rally point going into next week. Looking at nat gas so far, all right, massive continuation pattern from last week. Bulls clearly in control of the market, hitting new highs, third week in a row. I think that's exactly what the trend is going to continue to be as we're now fully kicked off into the fall season. So I think this is what's going on. And summer's coming to a close. Fall's right around the corner, officially speaking. So, yeah, I think nat gas wants to keep going. We're already breaking into that $5 handle. Hasn't been here in a long time. So I think it's going to take off. Looking at the banking sector, here's Bank of America. So last week we had the crash alert sell signal for this week, and so far we got a narrow range inside week. But I do think that the selling is about to kick in, and we should start to see some downside production. Now the last sell signal yielded no downside production, but second time's a charm, right? So we got our radar locked on to the Bank of America. I think the trend line support at 36 is where the market will most likely pull back to. Taking a look now at Facebook. Take a look at Facebook. We got an inside week here. You see last week kind of made a bullish pointer of sorts, but we don't have any follow through as of yet, just a narrow range. I think it's definitely keeping up tick for tick with the NASDAQ 100 futures. So as goes the NASDAQ, goes Facebook for now. All right, next is bonds. Here's the ticker TLT. And as you can see here, the bears are still clearly in control. We have a resistance pocket from the bottom of the Kumo cloud to the trend line support zone, and prices are really struggling to stay above that trend line support. So this resistance zone more than likely is going to win out. I think that the bond prices will start to possibly falter here and fall off of a cliff, because this resistance zone appears pretty powerful. It's going to take a lot of buying momentum to push this not just higher, but out of the resistance zone and into the Kumo cloud. So $150 a share is where that resistance line is going to be. So we'll see what it finally decides to do. Going back to the banking sector, here's Wells Fargo. So just like Bank of America, we have the crash alert sell signal that ended the week last week, setting the stage for the trend line support around the $40 mark. So far, we got that narrow range. No downside production as of yet. The prior signal did not yield any downside production either. So we'll have to see what is in store for this one. I think it's going to kick in. Here is ADA Cardano. So far, we're definitely putting in a crash alert sell signal for next week. And so far, you got a bearish pointer as well. I think this has a strong possibility of establishing the trading range for the remainder of the year, which is very possible. I think that this last week is the range for the foreseeable future, unless we can get a lot of momentum to kick in. But as of right now, it's not looking like that. I think we're producing another one of these here, where the market just moves sideways for a couple of months. I see the same thing happening. Just that you're just expanding the range. But notice how this range dips back down into your primary range of May 21st. I think May 21st, 2021, that week of May 21st, 2021, established the trading ranges in a lot of assets. And that's what you're seeing here. All right, BNB. All right, still hasn't broken out from its cluster from the May 21st as well. But all things being equal, so far we're setting up for a crash alert sell signal going into next week. None of which is too important because you're still trading within the May 21st range. Next up is Ethereum. Once again, same scenario. Here's that May 21st. You're still stuck in it. You're still stuck in this range-bound vortex. Nothing is really changing. All right, here's that NASDAQ 100. You know, it's just too powerful. We don't have any upside production as of yet, but I think we're about to get it. I think the next upside target is 1600 on the NASDAQ 100. It's just being stretched, man. It's just so much money piling into that NASDAQ. Here's Litecoin. Same thing. Here's the week of May 21st. Here's your prices. We've gone nowhere. All right, here's Theta. All right, Theta is under the same situation right now. Nothing's happening. Here's your XRP Ripple. All right. Here's your May 21st bar. Same thing. Bitcoin, altcoins, doesn't matter. All same pattern because the same money's flowing in and out of all those assets at the same time. So far, we have a crash alert sell signal developing on the crude oil futures, as you can see right here. All right. The market's still under a correction right now, even though it's not really putting any downside production in, but this could be the week here that sets it up for next week. Trend line support at $60 would be in play if that comes to fruition. The last sell signal did give us downside production. The one before that also gave us downside production. The one before that one also, and then the one before that one just a little bit. One before that one just a smidgen. But as you can see, we haven't really had a real corrective situation, especially not one that breaks trend line support. Haven't touched the trend line in quite some time. And again, these are weekly charts. All right, next up is the Russell My Hustle. As you can see here, the Russell My Hustle. We have a crash alert sell signal so far forming and developing on this one going into next week. We still got tomorrow and Friday to see where this thing closes, but it's almost like a double top, right? Here's your top, here's your failure, right? And it's been bumping against the top for a while, right? Look at this. All right. But if you were to break it down, it's still just moving sideways, right? You don't really have too much going on here. Just sideways action. You haven't really broke out. You haven't broke out. Going all the way back. You have not broke out. Technically speaking, you're still in the bar of March of this year. So if you want to be technical about it, the market hasn't done anything since March. All right. You're still trading in that bar right now. Since March, nothing has happened. You're at the same price range you were in March of this year. That's the power of a market to move sideways for a very long time. All summer, just sideways momentum. All right, here's silver. All right, you can see here that silver is trying to hang in there. Right now, it's consolidating from the August 13th. A few of your commodity futures products are, they established a trading range on August 13th this year, and prices are just moving within that vein. You're not trending, you're not breaking out. You're just trading at the, within the range, top side, bottom side, whatever. That's what's happening now. So the bulls are trying to hold it. They're trying to hold positive momentum, stay at the upper end of the range. But as you can see here, it's a very wide Kumo cloud. It is enormous. The cloud is enormous. And you're going no. Next up is the Dow futures. All right, so is the Dow so far, it's putting in a crash alert sell signal going into next week. So far, this can reverse at any moment, but so far, that's what it's setting itself up. If that happens, 32,000 is the target, and that's quite a ways down, thousands of points. It's possible. Don't ever think it's not possible, because it's very possible. Next up is the Australian dollar, as you can see here. So far, we're setting up a crash alert sell signal on this one too, but also so far it's a bullish pointer as well. So something to think about, and you're inside of an enormous Kumo cloud here on this weekly as well. So it looks like we've shifted from the bull to the bearish mode here, at least for the time being. It could flip-flop again. We'll see what happens, how it closes this week, and but that so far that's what we're looking like. Could be setting up for another leg down, a powerful leg down. All right, staying in that vein, here's the Canadian dollar. All right, so you can see the bears are still in control. This is the second week of downside production, and we got this reversal so far, but the bears are still under control. You still got that that gap here, that resistance zone from the bottom of the Kumo cloud to the trend line support, and that's kind of where the prices are struggling at right now. It's just lacking, any real momentum to get it pushed inside of the Kumo cloud. So failing that, this thing could fall off the cliff as well, roll over, and we could see a massive sell-off there. Last but not least, here is the mighty Bitcoin. All right, so as you can see so far, we're setting up for a crash alert sell signal going into next week. This one's lacking bullish momentum too. It could turn around. We still have Thursday's trade and Friday's trade to see what happens here. And that's all this is lacking is that momentum. You see, it did well for several weeks, and finally having that pullback. So this could be also a springboard going into the next week, because right now the complexion for the bullish argument is there, and you're above the trend line support, and you're above the Kumo cloud. However, if we end like this, if come Sunday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard New York time, this bar is this, then the trend line support at 35,000 comes into play, and that's an 11,000 point drop from where the price currently is. Just something to think about. There's something to think about. Do I think silver is going to be in the triple digits in 2022? Not at this rate. Not at the rate it's going now. No, I don't see gold being above 2,000 either. Not at this rate. Not at this rate. At the rate that it's going right now, that's not. It's not likely. And right now, it is almost impossible to prognosticate that far in advance, only because of the economic uncertainties. There's so much going on right now in the global economic landscape that it's impossible. Anything could happen. I mean, technically speaking, we're on the brink of just about everything. We're on the brink of World War III. We're on the brink of food shortages, water shortages, especially here in the United States. Food shortage is here already. So is water crises, um, economic crises. It's just too many. It's crises on top of crises. So it's hard to prognosticate at this point. Um, Let me see here. You want to see the monthly chart on the US dollar. Okay, here you go. Here's what the monthly chart looks like on the US dollar. You can see we're still at the low end of the spectrum, right? We're at the low end. We were for a few months trading within the March 31st of 2020's bar, right? And then all of a sudden the market broke down from that range and it's been breaking down ever since. Now we're kind of moving sideways, but still broken down nonetheless. Now, right now, there's been some bullish momentum for the past couple of months. They're trying to keep this going. Overhead trendline resistance is the target, and that's going to put the U.S. dollar, the U.S. index around that 94 handle. All right, so 94 is what they're looking at. He said we're getting a morning report before the rapture. Can't be long now. Yeah, man, I have to say there's a lot of global events, man. I think the next thing on the docket would be the rapture of the church, and not long after that, the revealing of the man of sin, the Antichrist. I think all those things are on the board right now, on the table. There's so much going on right now. Um, I'm drowning in news. Put it that way. It's hard, man. It's to keep. So I just focus on what I can focus on. I've been focusing on these pulse waves, making sure you guys have the most up to date, the most accurate information, so you can do what you got to do. Um, I don't know, man. You said how long? How long can that Confederate note sustain? That's a good question, man. Look, just like I like how Jim Rogers always puts it. He says, the U.S. has gone from being, a lender to being a debtor nation. All right, that can't sustain. Not now, not ever. How is that going to be sustainable? You can't build, you know, an economy on debt. Okay, it just doesn't work. All right, you're signing your own death warrant at that point. And I think that the thing, that one of the ingredients, that's going to prove fatal for the U.S. will be the debt. But I think the U.S. is going to die 1,000 deaths, death from 1,000 cuts. I think economics. I think crumbling infrastructure. I think just so many different aspects are going to topple the giant. It's not just one thing that's going to topple the U.S. empire. I think the debt, though, is probably the straw that breaks the camel's back, to be quite honest with you. So you know what it is, man. We trade, we try to make money and save as much as we can, so we can take care of our families. Like I say, this is the last bastion of wealth making that I know of is the markets. Because when all else fails, markets are still going to be here, and we'll be able to do what we need to do. Do I think the U.S. will default on loans soon? I think the U.S. has pretty much defaulted 100 times over. Why do you think they keep having these debt ceiling issues and kicking the can down the road? It gets to a point where you can't kick the can down the road anymore, and then that's when you have all types of issues. I think they have been prolonging the inevitable as long as possible. I don't think he can do it forever though. No, not at all. Um, I think this is what they want. I think everything that's happening is happening by design. It's not an accident. It's not organic. All right, it's part of the deep state's agenda. All right, the deep state, the shadow government, they have an agenda, and it is not a good one. It's not good for us. Their agenda is not good for you and me. Their agenda technically does not include you and me. So it is what it is, man. But y'all know what it is, man. That's all I got for y'all today. Smash that like button. Go to pulsewavetrading.com so you can get your hands on these daily reports. You're going to need them to navigate these markets and know what's coming next. All right, and be able to make money, extract money. You're going to need it. And if you haven't already done so, you're going to want to, get in here right now before they start closing the door on your ability to get into the markets. All right, I've been warning about that for years, and people don't listen. And it's getting to the point now where they're going to start making it impossible for you to open an account if you don't already have one. So yeah, Agenda 21 done. Next one, Agenda 2030 and Agenda 2050. You're right. Absolutely. All right, y'all remember, bulls make money, bears make money, and pigs get slaughtered. So remember to take what you can and give nothing back. And I am out. Peace.